Hello, esteemed gentlemen. The rarest souls move in silence, unseen but unstoppable. There's a reason why history's most enigmatic figures always seem to operate just outside the limelight, why they never quite fit into society's blueprint, yet somehow bend reality to their will. They aren't just different, they are something else entirely. Sigma males are wired differently, but not in the way most people think. This isn't just about being introverted, independent, or rebellious. That's child's play. What makes them truly formidable is something deeper, something almost unnatural. Their minds don't just see the world, they decode it. Their presence doesn't just affect people, it shifts them. Here's a fact that might blow your mind. Throughout history, some of the most influential figures, men who changed the world without bending the knee to society, exhibited eerie traits of Sigma males. Nikola Tesla, Bruce Lee, Miyamoto Musashi, even the legendary spy Richard Sorge, all had an unshakable independence, an almost supernatural ability to see beyond the surface, and a knack for outmaneuvering systems that were built to contain them. But what's behind this? Is it just personality, or is it something more? The truth is, Sigma males are born with a unique set of spiritual gifts, abilities that separate them from the rest of humanity, whether they like it or not. Some of these gifts are subtle, others are so potent they seem almost otherworldly. Today, we're not just listing them, we're dissecting them. The 10 spiritual gifts Sigma males are naturally born with, the ones that make them unpredictable, unstoppable, and, let's be honest, a little terrifying. Brace yourself. This isn't your average self-improvement fluff. This is raw, unfiltered truth. Let's get started. Number 1. The gift of memory. Manipulation. Sigma. Males have a strange way of controlling how people remember them, or if they even remember them at all. This isn't some cheap psychological trick or social media gimmick. It's a deeply ingrained ability, something that works on a subconscious level. They can leave an unforgettable impact on certain people while making themselves nearly invisible to others. It's not magic, but it might as well be. When a Sigma male wants to be remembered, he doesn't do it by being loud, flashy, or attention-seeking. That's the amateur way. Instead, he makes an impact through the weight of his presence, the precision of his words, and the sheer unpredictability of his actions. He doesn't just enter a room, he alters the dynamic of it. People don't always realize it at the moment, but later, they find themselves replaying conversations, analyzing what he said, and questioning why he stood out. His influence lingers long after he's gone. On the flip side, when a Sigma male decides he doesn't want to be remembered, he becomes almost non-existent. He blends into the background, not because he's weak or afraid, but because he understands how perception works. People remember what disrupts their expectations. Sigmas don't give them that satisfaction. They strip away anything that makes them too classifiable. They avoid unnecessary details about themselves, keep their expressions neutral, and control the energy they give off. Before long, they fade into the mental fog of others, just another passing face in the crowd. This ability makes them unpredictable, and that's what gives them power. A Sigma male can be someone's most vivid memory or a ghost that never truly existed. This is why they make excellent strategists, negotiators, and even disruptors. They control when and if they matter in someone's mind. The world is full of people who desperately want to be remembered, fighting for attention like fish scrambling for breadcrumbs. A Sigma male? He doesn't beg for space in people's minds. He takes it or leaves it at will. That's what makes him different. That's what makes him dangerous. Number 2. The gift of time. Distortion. Most people are slaves to time. Their lives are dictated by alarms, deadlines, and the relentless ticking of the clock. They rush from one obligation to the next, barely questioning why, trapped in an invisible current that sweeps them toward an end they never truly chose. Sigma males? They exist outside that current. Time doesn't control them, they control time. This isn't about supernatural powers or bending reality, it's about perception. Sigma males experience time differently because they aren't mentally shackled to the artificial structures society imposes. When everyone else is sprinting through life on autopilot, a Sigma moves at his own pace, seeing things unfold from a higher vantage point. While others react, he anticipates. This ability gives him a unique edge. He can slow his mind down in high-pressure situations, making split-second decisions with surgical precision. He doesn't get caught up in urgency or panic because he understands that most deadlines are illusions, pressures created to control the masses. By stepping outside of that illusion, he sees what others miss. He notices subtle shifts in behavior, patterns in events, and opportunities that remain invisible to those racing mindlessly toward the next item on their to-do list. But it doesn't stop there. This time, distortion also allows him to extend his perspective beyond the present moment. Most people are trapped in short-term thinking, obsessed with immediate gratification or fleeting concerns. A Sigma male sees across timelines. He plays the long game, thinking in years while others think in days. This is why he often seems detached. He's not disengaged, he's simply aware that most of what people stress over is temporary noise. This mindset makes him unpredictable. The world expects people to operate within set rhythms, to wake, work, consume, and repeat. A Sigma refuses. He operates on his own internal clock, adapting only when he chooses. This is why he can disappear for months, only to return sharper than ever. It's why he can make bold moves while others hesitate. When you're not controlled by time, you see possibilities no one else does. And when you see further than everyone else, you win before they even realize a game is being played. Number 3. The gift of invisibility at will. Most people leave trails wherever they go, traces of their thoughts, movements, and emotions that make them easy to track. They post their every move online, seek validation from others, and build predictable routines that make them easy to find. A Sigma male operates differently. He doesn't just withdraw when needed, he disappears. Not in some dramatic, attention-seeking way, but with a precision that makes him nearly untraceable. When a Sigma male decides to vanish, he does so effortlessly. Socially, he can detach without explanation, slipping away from conversations, groups, or entire social circles without leaving loose ends. He doesn't crave recognition or closure, he simply walks away. Digitally, he can erase his presence in an instant, abandoning platforms, deleting past interactions, and making himself nearly impossible to track. He understands that in a world addicted to hyperconnectivity, true power lies in disconnecting at will. But the most unsettling part, a Sigma male can become emotionally invisible too. This is where most people fail. They might try to disappear physically, but their emotions betray them. They still seek attention, still want to be missed. A Sigma leaves nothing behind. When he's done, he's done. He doesn't need to explain, justify, or linger in people's minds. He can make himself so emotionally absent that even those who were once close to him begin questioning if he was ever really there at all. This ability gives him a unique form of control. He decides when he engages with the world and when he doesn't. No one can hold him in place, track his movements, or manipulate him with social guilt. If a situation no longer serves him, he extracts himself cleanly, without chaos, without drama, just gone. Most people fear being forgotten. They leave breadcrumbs, hoping others will follow, needing to feel seen. A Sigma male? He doesn't need to be remembered. He doesn't need to be found. Because when he chooses to reappear, it will be on his own terms. Number 4. The gift of the anti-aura. Most people with strong personalities naturally draw attention. They radiate charm, demand recognition, or manipulate social energy to make themselves the center of gravity. Sigma males don't operate that way. Their presence does the opposite. It filters people. Instead of attracting everyone, it subtly repels those who don't belong. This isn't something they consciously try to do. It just happens. A Sigma male's energy carries a quiet intensity, one that makes the weak-willed uncomfortable. There's no forced friendliness, no performative enthusiasm, no desperate need to be liked. And that terrifies people who rely on social masks. The fake, the insecure, and the validation-hungry sense, almost instinctively, that they can't penetrate his world. Their usual tricks, flattery, gossip, false confidence, don't work on him, and that makes them uneasy. They either distance themselves or try and fail to pull him into their games. The desperate and needy react even more dramatically. They are used to people either indulging or rejecting them outright, but a Sigma does neither. He doesn't push them away aggressively, he just doesn't engage. There's no hostility, no interest, just an absence of reaction. And that silence is unbearable to those who crave attention. They either leave on their own or exhaust themselves trying to get a response that will never come. But here's where the gift becomes truly powerful. Only those who should be in his presence remain. People with real substance, those who are mentally strong, self-sufficient, and authentic, are not repelled. They recognize the Sigma for what he is, someone who operates beyond shallow social games. Instead of being threatened, they are drawn in, not by force, but by alignment. This anti-aura isn't about arrogance or isolation, it's a natural filtration system. The Sigma male doesn't waste time weeding out the wrong people, they weed themselves out. What's left is a space where only the real belong. And in a world full of noise, that silence is more powerful than any forced charisma. Number 5. The gift of the invisible war. Tactician. Most people approach conflict like a battlefield. They charge in, weapons drawn, eager to prove themselves. They argue, fight, scheme, and waste energy on battles that in the grand scheme of things don't even matter. Sigma males? They don't fight like that. In fact, they rarely fight at all. Not because they're weak, not because they're afraid, but because they don't have to. They win before the war even starts. A Sigma male sees every potential conflict as a chessboard, not an arena. While others are busy sharpening their swords, he's already 5 moves ahead, positioning himself so strategically that by the time someone realizes there was a battle to be fought, the outcome has already been decided. His enemies never get the fight they wanted, because he made sure they either lost the will to attack or had no path to victory. This is what makes Sigmas so dangerous. They remove your ability to fight them at all. They control the terrain of battle, dictate the terms of engagement, and often make their opponents defeat themselves. If someone tries to challenge them socially, they refuse to engage, making the aggressor look foolish. If someone tries to sabotage them professionally, they have already built a system that makes interference useless. If someone tries to bring them into drama, they vanish, leaving no target to attack. The secret to their approach is leverage. Sigma males don't waste time on petty battles. They ensure that the cost of attacking them is too high. They build reputations that make people think twice before crossing them. They cultivate skills that make them indispensable, so removing them is a bigger problem than keeping them around. They gather knowledge that allows them to dismantle threats before they escalate. And the best part? Their enemies rarely see it coming. They expect loud, aggressive retaliation, not silent, effortless dismantling. By the time they realize what happened, the Sigma male is already gone, untouched, undefeated, and completely unbothered. That's not just strategy, that's dominance. Number 6. The gift of self-chosen destiny. Most people live life as if they were handed a script at birth. Study hard, get a job, follow the rules, settle down, retire, and hope for the best. They walk paths designed by others, never questioning who built them or why. Sigma males, they reject all of it, not because they're rebellious for the sake of it, but because they understand a truth that most never grasp. Destiny isn't given, it's taken. A Sigma male doesn't wait for permission to live life on his own terms. He doesn't ask society what he should do, nor does he rely on external validation to confirm his choices. Instead, he forges a path that never existed before, carving his own way through sheer will and precision. He's not bound by tradition, family expectations, or the need to conform. If a path doesn't suit him, he doesn't follow it. He creates his own. This is why Sigmas often seem untethered from the world's expectations. They don't chase the same things everyone else does: titles, social status, approval. Instead, they chase mastery, independence, and a reality that aligns with their vision. If that means rejecting conventional career paths, they do it. If it means leaving behind relationships that restrict them, they walk away. If it means vanishing from society for months or years to build something that only they understand, they embrace the solitude. But here's the real power. Because they choose their own destiny, they are immune to the existential crises that plague the masses. While others feel lost when life doesn't go as planned, Sigmas don't panic. because they were never following someone else's plan to begin with. They are adaptable, relentless, and entirely self-directed. And that makes them dangerous in a world that thrives on control. Systems are built to contain people, to push them down pre-designed tracks, ensuring they never stray too far. A Sigma male is a walking rejection of that system, proving that anyone can break free if they choose to. He doesn't live life by default. He forces it to align with his will, and if reality doesn't fit, he bends it until it does. Number 7, the gift of world hacking. Most people accept reality as it's presented to them. They follow the rules, take things at face value, and assume the game of life is played fairly. Sigma males? They see right through that illusion. To them, the world isn't a rigid structure, it's a system full of loopholes, weak spots, and hidden mechanics waiting to be exploited. They don't just play the game, they hack it. A Sigma male's mind is wired to spot what others miss. Where most see obstacles, he sees workarounds. While the masses are stuck following traditional paths, he finds backdoors that let him skip unnecessary steps. Whether it's career moves, financial strategies, or social dynamics, he understands that the rules are often arbitrary, designed to keep people in line rather than to serve them. And because he doesn't have the same blind obedience as the rest, he bends those rules in ways that others never even consider. This ability makes him dangerously effective. In business, he spots inefficiencies and exploits them before the competition even knows they exist. In social settings, he maneuvers conversations and power dynamics without ever appearing forceful. In everyday life, he sidesteps bureaucracy, avoids unnecessary struggles, and positions himself where he holds the advantage, not by luck, but by seeing the invisible threads that hold reality together. And here's the real secret. Hacking the world isn't about breaking laws or cheating, it's about understanding how the system truly works. The average person is too distracted, too conditioned to question things. A Sigma isn't. He recognizes that everything from corporate hierarchies to social norms is just a construct, something created, not something absolute. This awareness gives him the power to manipulate reality in ways that others can't. Most people wait for opportunities. Sigmas create them. Others struggle within the system. Sigmas recode it. And while everyone else is busy following the rules, a Sigma male has already rewritten them to his advantage. That's not just intelligence, that's power. Number 8, the gift of the cosmic observer. Mindset. Most people are inside life's chaos, fully immersed in the emotions, drama, and expectations that come with it. They take everything personally, react impulsively, and get lost in the daily struggles that society throws at them. Sigma males? They don't get trapped in that storm. They step back and watch. To a Sigma, life isn't just something to experience. It's something to observe. He sees patterns where others see randomness. He studies human behavior with the detachment of a scientist watching an experiment. When people get caught up in trends, conflicts, or emotional outbursts, he remains unaffected because to him it's all part of a predictable simulation, a system following its natural course. This mindset makes him nearly immune to manipulation. While most people react emotionally to situations, a Sigma simply analyzes. He doesn't get baited into meaningless arguments or power struggles. He doesn't take offense easily because he understands that people's actions are often driven by their own insecurities, biases, or conditioning. Instead of reacting, he adjusts. Instead of fighting unnecessary battles, he redirects. The real power of this mindset is freedom. Most people are prisoners of their emotions and external pressures. A Sigma moves through life with a sense of calm detachment, making decisions based on logic and long-term impact rather than impulse. This is why he can walk away from toxic situations without hesitation, why he can ignore the pressure to conform, why he can operate independently while others desperately seek validation. This doesn't mean a Sigma male is cold or emotionless. He feels, but he doesn't get controlled by what he feels. He can experience emotions without drowning in them, allowing him to stay sharp even in the most chaotic situations. This makes him unpredictable, composed, and to some, even intimidating. While the world scrambles, reacts, and spirals, the Sigma male simply watches, understands, and moves when he chooses. And that kind of control, that's what separates him from the rest of humanity. Number 9. The gift of psychological disarmament. Most people's words are empty, filler noise, social scripts, and meaningless chatter designed to keep up appearances. They talk without thinking, argue without reason, and defend themselves with weak justifications. Sigma males? When they speak, it's surgical. Their words don't just land, they dissect. A Sigma male doesn't waste energy on pointless conversations, but when he does choose to engage, his words have an almost unsettling effect. He sees through people, cutting through their illusions, facades, and insecurities with a kind of brutal precision that leaves them exposed, sometimes without even realizing it. He doesn't need to raise his voice or use force. His insight alone is enough to make people rethink everything they thought they knew about themselves. This ability makes him both powerful and dangerous. His honesty isn't the shallow, feel-good kind. It's raw, unfiltered, and often exactly what people don't want to hear. But that's what makes it effective. Most people have built walls around their minds, carefully constructed defenses to protect themselves from harsh truths. A Sigma's words slip through those defenses effortlessly, not because he's trying to attack, but because he sees things too clearly to play along with the lie. Some people find this disarming in the best way possible. They walk away from a conversation with a Sigma male feeling lighter, like he unlocked something inside them they were too afraid to face. Others? They feel completely exposed because, for the first time, someone saw them, their fears, their weaknesses, their contradictions, and didn't look away. But here's what makes it even more powerful. A Sigma knows when to use it. He doesn't go around verbally dismantling people for fun. He chooses his words with precision, knowing exactly when to heal, when to challenge, and when to let silence do the work for him. People expect arguments, manipulation, or emotional pressure. What they don't expect is truth so sharp it leaves no room for defense. And that's why a Sigma male never needs to dominate a conversation. Because by the time he's done speaking, the other person is already questioning everything. Number 10. The gift of hypnotic stillness. Most people fidget, fill silence with noise, or constantly shift their energy to keep up with social expectations. They rely on movement, physical or verbal, to feel comfortable, as if stillness itself is unnatural. Sigma males? They weaponize stillness. When a Sigma male decides to be completely present yet utterly still, something strange happens. The air around him changes. His lack of reaction, his quiet control, his refusal to fill space with unnecessary words, it all creates a tension that people don't know how to handle. It's not forced, not theatrical, but completely effortless. And that's why it's so unnerving. This kind of stillness makes people hyper-aware of themselves. In his presence, their usual distractions, their need for validation, their rehearsed social masks, suddenly feel exposed. They start questioning themselves not because he's doing anything, but because his presence acts like a mirror. Most people are never forced to sit in the weight of their own thoughts, their own insecurities. Around a Sigma, they have no choice. Some find this stillness captivating. They feel drawn in, as if standing in front of something rare, an energy that doesn't beg for attention but demands it simply by existing. Others feel deeply unsettled, their own nervous energy clashing against the Sigma's complete lack of urgency. In either case, the effect is undeniable. This is why Sigma males don't need to dominate rooms with loudness or force. They control energy in a different way, by refusing to be controlled by it. When they sit in absolute stillness, they aren't just unaffected by the chaos around them. They make others feel that chaos in themselves. It's the kind of presence that doesn't just make people look at the Sigma, it makes them look at themselves. And for some, that's more powerful and more terrifying than anything he could ever say. Number 11, the gift of the mirror effect. Most people spend their lives hiding. From their flaws, their fears, their contradictions, they build personas, tell themselves comfortable lies, and surround themselves with people who reinforce their illusions. But when they encounter a Sigma male, something shifts. Suddenly, the mask doesn't fit as well. The excuses sound hollow. The facade starts to crack. Why? Because a Sigma doesn't reflect himself onto others, he reflects them. His presence acts like a mirror, showing people exactly who they are beneath all the layers they've built to protect themselves. He doesn't do this intentionally. It happens simply because he exists outside of the games people play. He doesn't feed their delusions, doesn't play along with their carefully constructed identities. Without realizing it, people start revealing their true selves around him, sometimes for the first time. For the strong-willed, this is liberating. They feel seen in a way they never have before. They don't have to put on a performance. They can be real, stripped of social expectations, free from the exhausting need to impress. A conversation with a Sigma male can leave them feeling lighter, clearer, more self-assured, because for once they're not being fed empty validation or meaningless small talk. They're being reflected as they truly are. But for the weak, the insecure, the ones who have spent their whole lives carefully avoiding self-awareness, the experience is terrifying. A Sigma doesn't need to expose them. They expose themselves just by being in his presence. Their contradictions become glaringly obvious. Their manipulations fall flat. Their pretenses, which work so well on others, completely dissolve when they realize he sees right through them. And without external validation to keep their illusions intact, they spiral. This is why people either gravitate toward a Sigma or run from him. There's no in-between. He doesn't try to influence, change, or fix people. He simply holds up a mirror. And what they see, that's on them. The world is full of noise, people scrambling for attention, validation, and a sense of purpose dictated by others. But Sigma males move differently. They don't chase, they don't conform, they don't beg to be understood. Instead, they embody something far rarer, complete sovereignty over themselves. Each of these gifts, the ability to disappear at will, the mastery of unseen war tactics, the hypnotic stillness, the mirror effect, sets them apart in ways most will never fully grasp. They don't need power in the traditional sense because their very existence bends reality to their will. They don't need recognition because they define their own worth. And they don't need to prove themselves because in a world where everyone is desperately playing a role, the Sigma male is one of the few who simply is. This is why they remain an enigma, why they inspire awe in some and discomfort in others, why they are both misunderstood and deeply respected. The Sigma male doesn't live by the world's script, he rewrites it. And those who cross paths with him, whether they realize it or not, will never quite see things the same way again. That is the silent, undeniable power of the Sigma male. And that is why he stands alone. If this resonated with you, if you see the power in the Sigma mindset and the way it reshapes reality, then don't just walk away in silence. Subscribe to the channel and become part of a movement that values depth over distractions, strategy over chaos, and truth over illusions. Hit that like button to let the world know that Sigma energy is real. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts, whether you align with the Sigma path or you've encountered one in your own life. And most importantly, share this with those who are ready to see beyond the surface, because trust me, most people aren't. This isn't just content, it's a new way of seeing the world. And if you're here for that, then welcome. You're exactly where you need to be.